What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about Dungeons and Dragons and Idle champions. And with me this week is the amazing Holly Conrad.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got my cauldron of coffee,
Yeah.
so I'm ready to go.
I have my empty cauldron. It's a little sadder. Holly, if there are people in the chat that somehow don't know who are you for those fine folks?
Hello. I'm Holly. I play Strix, the Trash Witch. Technically, Strix Beestinger. She has a long history of making mistakes. I play on the Acquisitions Inc. stage, and I used to play on a show called Dice Camera Action, which was amazing. And so I've had many iterations of Strix over the times. I've played D&D online, and it's been very fun. And my normal day job is running the shop Wheat Crowing Hens with my friend Kayla, where we make weird clothes and art. So yes,
that's awesome. What was the site called again?
It's called We Crowing Hens, like the royal we.
The royal we.
Yeah,
Yes, I
we
like
crowing
that.
hens.
The royal hens. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, because hens can actually crow. It's a fact. They actually will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll actually. There was like a whole bunch of lore and stuff like back in the day about crowing hens and how it was like a bad thing, and how like women being dominant or being loud was bad. So crowing hens were bad because it was like a whole thing. There's like lore behind it.
See, look, you come to Idle Insights, you get interesting information about champions, but also history.
Yeah, just a little bit of history.
Bit.
Yeah, they compared a whistling woman to a crowing hen because whistling was also really tough.
What else was there to do? There was nothing else to do. Let people whistle.
Don't whistle. Don't do it. Don't whistle. Don't do it. Very silly.
Well, we're here today to talk about Strix. But before we get to that, I always like start off these episodes with the question: how'd you get into D&D?
Yeah, so I was mentioning this a little bit earlier, but it is a fun story. So I started playing Dungeons and Dragons kind of like end of middle school, beginning of high school. My friends and I made a Dungeons and Dragons club. I had a lot of the books. And I love the Planescape books and the old Forgotten Realms books that looked like books. And I played Baldur's Gate all the time on my PC. So in high school, I played Baldur's Gate, all that. And I was like, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons Club. So we started our club. And later on in the year, like not even that quick, like probably after like a month, the principal called us in to ask if we would be using real blood in our sacrifices.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, no, for real. And then after that, the club was no more because we were like it's a board game, like it's a board game, it's not it was a little hard to
come back from. Oh yeah, you're the club that was gonna have blood, right?
Yeah, it was a very religious public school, and like my friends and I were just like, let's just keep getting good grades and get out of here. And then I played in college. I've loved D&D for so long. Like again, Baldur's Gate was my favorite game of all time. I played Neverwinter Nights. All of those things were my absolute favorites. I read all the Forgotten Realms books. Like I was my fandom growing up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know, but honestly, knowing what I do about Strix and the Planescape stuff, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I love the Planescape books. I love Dieter Lizzie. Tony Dieter Lizzie does the art for the old Planescape books, and he's amazing. And I have one original piece of his, which is the mortuary from Planescape, and it's like my prized possession.
That's so cool.
I got to meet him at Gen Con. I was so stoked. It was awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into Strix, I do want to say, hey, everybody, we're live. I know I usually don't say that well enough, but hey, we're live right now, so you can go ahead and put your questions into chat for Holly. You put them in with question, colon, and then your question, and Mars is going to grab them, put them in a little text doc, and we will talk about them later on in the show. But yeah, so we're here to talk about Strix. So, Holly, how'd you come up with Strix?
So she is kind of an iteration of the character I've been playing since I was in high school. So I've been playing a tiefling sorcerer my whole D&D career.
Really?
The whole time. And she's had different names, and I don't remember the name that I had in high school. Like I, for some reason, can't remember it. It wasn't Strix. It was something else, and it was boring. And I don't think I liked it. But I've always played a tiefling sorcerer, even when in college I had a DM tell me, "Will you get a -2 to charisma?" And I was like, "I don't care. I want to be a tiefling sorcerer. I know that sorcerers use charisma, and tieflings back then had a -2 because they weren't like cute skittled colored people like they are now. They were like gross and stinky, and so like." Back then it was like, yeah, I'm gross and stinky and weird and I have a -2 to charisma and I don't care. And I just kept playing her anyway. So that was the first iteration of Strix. I loved mage robes. I loved wizards. I loved sorcerers. And I like the idea of sorcerers because they had their power innately versus learning from books. And
Yeah.
I do love learning from books and I wish I was like better at it. And I think that's why I picked a sorcerer because I was like, but that's why Strix really like wishes she could be a wizard. Like that's why her and Jim Dark Magic have such a good rivalry because she really wishes she could be a wizard, but she can't.
Mm-hmm.
She just can't. So, and of course wizards wish that they could be sorcerers because so it's like this, this rivalry.
Yeah. Well, don't tell Mike, but I'm Team Strix.
It's okay. I would love to do like a battle royale one day with like Strix and Jim just to see who wins. I think it'd be the funniest thing. They'd probably just both end up like just getting rid of all their spells and just like crying. Yeah.
That's a good battle strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she came from that character. Over the years, I had just come up with, different iterations of the same character. And then I just kind of solidified her into what she is now when I started DCA with Chris, back in 2016 or 2015. So.
Okay. Well, so that actually makes my next question a little more interesting here, because one of the things is you're one of the few players that I've had on here who has played a character in multiple different shows. Do you have kind of like a head canon for yourself of like, this is Strix's story? Like do the shows get involved in that?
Yes, kind of. I mean, so with Ack Inc., I never know if Strix is a clone or not. I'm just going to assume that she's not. I really don't know. So I'm just going to assume that she's not. But, that's kind of like, could be a clone. We don't know. For these games, I feel like it's kind of like Strix and Evelyn's like fun best friend time with friends for the Idle Champions games, because it's always Strix and Evelyn like doing wacky friend stuff and meeting new people. And the fact that that Walnut is there now, I'm like, oh, now there's some Ack Inc. crossover. So like, I feel like those are kind of like if we were on a TV show, like DCA would be the main show, and then these like everything else is kind of spin-offs. So like what Chris DMs Strix as is, I feel like the canon, like what's actually happening to her, and these are just fun like little in my head. Not that there is any like greater or lesser importance. I'm just like, okay, this is my television show of my character in my head, so I can keep track of it. Sometimes if you like end up with a show on like a different channel, like it's a totally different experience. So
yeah, you never want the times where it's like when you had like the Transformers and the GoBots crossing over. Finally, it's just like, okay, what canon are we going with here?
Yeah, it's like the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers like show up and you're like, no, okay, I guess they did a movie together.
That gif still messes with me every time I see that. I'm like, how? I don't want to know.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, well, that's a thing. And I think that's part of the charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do think that's one of the fun things, especially about the Ack Inc. games, is whenever like you or Anna like bring up something that like the fans know is canon and for the characters, we're just like, hey, I know that reference. I get that one.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that about the Ack Inc. game, especially when there's like guests and stuff on and whatnot. It's always so much fun to see.
Oh yeah, I love playing in all those games. They're the best.
So what has Strix's arc been like? I guess what I was just saying, they're like the canon one. Like what where did she start and where is she at?
Well, we have been still playing DCA. Well, that's called DCA, but we still have a home game that is necessarily the same game. So like eventually, hopefully we can release like what has actually happened. But one of the most awesome, like exciting things that I found out recently in our game, it was probably not even recent, it was probably like a year and a half ago, but is that Strix is related to Alluvius Ruskin, who is the Tivum's Antiquities owner in Sigil, and she's part
Oh.
of the Incantifer family, like this sect of one of the oh my gosh, what is it? The factions. She's part of one of the ancient factions of Sigil, her family is. And so I found that out like in our normal home game, and I was like, oh my god. So that like blew my mind, because she looks just like Strix. I was like, what? Of course, like, because Chris is such
It's been here the whole time.
Yeah, and Chris is literally like a genius when it comes to tying all these things together. And so I'm just like so excited to find out more about Strix's past, which I don't know because it was all up to Chris. So the more we play, the more I can find out in our home game like about her past. But the fact that I have some of these clues is just like really exciting. So but other than that, then she's just doing her regular fun antics with Evelyn and all the other non-home game parts. So,
where did Strix start off at originally? I can't remember.
Oh, Barovia.
Yeah.
We all have ties to Barovia too, which is very depressing because Chris loves he loves Curse of Strahd. So we all kind of had to have ties to Curse of Strahd too, which is terrifying.
I was actually listening to y'all's show when I was running Curse of Strahd, and I've made the joke several times over the years that I owe Chris Perkins money for the amount of story I've stolen from his games.
Oh yeah.
And those games those games were just ridiculous with the amount of twists and turns, and that always made me want to do those as well and leave stuff off on cliffhangers. Yeah. Now it's almost become like a running gag on my my home game, where one of the players will eventually just go, "Oh, here it comes! It's 9 o'clock. Here it comes, guys!"
Or you end the game. Yeah.
Well, like if we're in a fight, he's always just like, "It's gonna be a cliffhanger. It's gonna be a cliffhanger."
That's such a good way to do it though, because then it makes it more like TV.
Yeah.
It makes it not TV, but like a book or a story or anything, or like something that has an arc. And I think Chris really was the first person who kind of started doing that, because 2 hours was so much shorter than Critical Role was, because that was really one of the only other shows on at the time when we started, and it's so long. And I think a lot of people, when it's like 2 hours, you're like, oh, okay, I can consume this, and then have an end with a cliffhanger and you want more.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, that was y'all's show is actually why I started running 2-hour sessions in like 2018.
Really?
And I've maintained that since then. We meet at 7 and we end at 9 every time. And the amount of stuff that we get done is staggering compared to like some other games that I play that are like, 6 hours long.
Yeah.
And I think it's because everybody knows, okay, this is 2 hours. We only have 2 hours. We are focused on this.
Yeah. And I think that's great because it gives you such an ability to explore things that you as a DM have put together. Your players know how much time they're going to be playing, which like as like people who have to work, like it's like when you're a kid, it doesn't matter. But like as an adult, it's just like, oh, like I have stuff I have to do. So if I know I can block out 2 hours for this awesome, fun game, then it's easier to get your D&D group together, which we all know is impossible.
Yes. The greatest evil that any party has ever seen.
Right. We all know it's impossible, but we've all accepted it. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about Strix and Evelyn a little bit, but I do kind of want to focus on that a little bit. How is Strix and Evelyn's friendship?
I think, they both really like love and respect each other in different ways. And it's interesting because Evelyn, like Strix isn't against like religion. She's not like, haha, you're like religious. Like she's never mocking her religiousness. Strix just knows that she could be a god one day. So like Strix has this like idea because of her Planescape lore, because of everything that she's grown up in Sigil and everything. She has this knowledge of the multiverse that Evelyn kind of has as well, because she knows the god is real. She knows she can contact this god. She knows that her power comes from this god. And Strix is like, I know that too, but I don't care because anyone can get that power. So I think like while she rolls her eyes at all the Lathander stuff, she's only doing it because she's just like, oh yeah, sure, Lathander. Yeah, wait until like I get my own demi-plane. Like,
I guess Lathander's cool, but like I'm gonna be cooler when I'm there. So
no, exactly. So she's just like, oh, I die, whatever. I'll come back. I'll figure it out. Like it's like, so it's kind of like I think part of their friendship comes from the fact that they both have this like cosmic vision of the realms versus like the worldly vision of the realms, but on two opposite ends. Like there's the godly one, and then there's the completely like cynical version.
I was gonna go with like realist version of it.
Realist, yes.
Because Evelyn definitely is the more of just like, oh no, everything's fine, don't worry about it.
No, exactly. Yeah. And Strix is just like, yes, I mean, everything's fine, but also let's go look for a body of a dead god because I want one.
Well, okay, well, that I mean, we're getting into a little bit of ISP there, but I do want to ask, what would Strix do with the body of a dead god?
Oh man, so many things. I mean, so I have a really high arcana, like really high. It's like +9 or something dumb. So like everything magic, she's just like, I don't know, would try and like steal whatever godly essence, the heart, fingernails, I don't know, take a bunch of bits, drag them away. Teeth. Does it have teeth? I don't know. Like just dig into the middle of it. No,
make a project out of it.
Yeah, try
it's like
and
this old
resurrect
house,
it, yeah.
but this old dead god.
Yes, yeah, yeah. She would definitely try and consume it somehow. Take the power, scoot it somewhere into the astral realm where it's like safe, so she can keep it. I don't know, blow it. Like I don't know how that works. Put a sail on it, fly it.
Like a tiny little boat dragging the dead god, and it's got the sign on the back that says like wide load or something.
Yes, yeah, with like 2 little lights. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love it. I hope that happens.
Yeah. Yes.
Well then, let's talk a little bit about Idle Champions Presents. Actually, you know what? Hang on, I do want to put a pause on that. This is a conversational show. I'm going to jump all the around the place with questions. What, you know, I don't think anybody, I don't know if you even got to talk about this if you've been on Idle Insights before, but your character has been in the game for a really long time.
Yeah.
In fact, yours and Anna's was the reason I got into Idle Champions, was because my sister-in-law was playing. I'm like, hey, I know those two.
That's
what is
so
this?
Funny.
So how was your experience bringing Strix to Idle Champions?
It was awesome. I loved being able to see the character come to life and move, and the art is so cute. My favorite part was when we first started that we had like Strix and Evelyn like best friend like gifts made. So it's like Strix is like walking and even like grabs her. Like it's just like very silly. Like the gifts are amazing and they're very, very cute. And I think, it was really cool. I could play with Minsk and stuff and all these Dritz and all these characters I recognize from my childhood books I read.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was very cool. I was like, oh my God. And like, there's Caddy Bree, all these people I recognize from all the books. So that was fun.
And then there's your character.
Yeah.
Right,
and there's me.
So cool.
Yeah. That was very, very cool.
That's
so fantastic. For me, it was like a very neat like fan moment where I could be in like an official like Forgotten Realms kind of thing. It was really special to me. So
that's awesome. I love that. I always love talking to people about their experience bringing characters into the game. Not just because the community manager and I work for CNA, just because it has always sounded just so special in different ways. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, playing along with Minsk and my whole, like when we had the whole party in the game and there could be Minsk, I was like, haha, it's all of us and Minsk. Go for the eyes, boo.
Go for the eyes, boo. God, I found so many different reasons to just throw Minsk into any of my home games.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, did I put him in? I don't think I ever did. I was so afraid to play him. I was like, I won't do him justice.
The one I'm most happy about is one of the games that I got my nephews into D&D with. I ran the beginning of Waterdeep Dragon Heist for them.
Oh, nice.
And so I had Minsk show up and was he was kind of like their babysitter, but was encouraging them to go fight evil.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Now they just try to get me to do the voice every time we have a get together.
That's so great. I love that. Yeah, his accent isn't one of the harder ones, so it's not as hard to do. I'm always so scared. When I DM, I'm like so scared of doing accents. I'm like, I'm gonna mess this up, you guys. I'm really bad at this. I'm so embarrassed.
What's weird for me with the Minsk one is I don't think about Baldur's Gate and I don't think about Jim Zub doing it. I actually think about the guy in Moulin Rouge that had narcolepsy.
Oh my God.
Because to me, that's what he sounds like. And so I'm just kind of doing an impression of that guy.
Amazing. Yeah, perfect. That's great.
Okay, let's talk about All Champions Presents. You got to be in one episode of one of them, Trials of Mount Tiamat, where the Avengers assembled. But this is your full adventure out. How has Hunger of the Far Realm been going?
This has been amazing because it's I mean, Spelljammer is very Planescape adjacent. I love the idea of the Far Realm. I've never explored the Far Realm, so I feel like eventually whenever we get there, I'm going to be very excited because it's something that I've never been DM'd in, which is very fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Spelljammer I haven't either. Like I've never gotten to play a game doing any Spelljammer stuff. I mean, I'm sure eventually Strix, like Chris loves Spelljammer, so she'll get thrown in there eventually, but yeah, I'm very
Trash
excited.
Witch in space.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. Yeah, I think it's been really fun. And I love this group. This group has been amazing. Yeah, Kent and Virgil really fit the party of Evelyn and Walnut and Strix very well. It's a very good vibe. It's very funny. Strix is happy to have a tiefling friend that's like interesting. So
and not trying to kill her.
And not trying to kill her. No, I was saying, yeah, fancy tieflings usually try to kill her. So the fact that this one is not is refreshing and fun. So yeah.
That's awesome. And just last episode, y'all got new outfits.
Yes.
Which are in the game right now, I believe. And I want to talk to you about Strix's outfit. What was the thought behind Strix's interesting attire?
So I love dumb conspiracy theories. Like I love them. Like I listen to podcasts about them all the time.
Yep.
My friend Kayla and I have a podcast called Spooky Scouts where we just talk about conspiracy theories and ghosts and aliens and stuff.
What? I didn't know about this. I'm literally going to go subscribe to this right now. That's my jam.
It's on Spotify. It's just me and Kayla talking about ghosts and spooky things all the time. And we literally just do it for fun. I barely talk because like we just have a good time doing it.
Oh no, I did a show like that. We didn't get to keep doing it because it was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. We're on break right now because it's so much work. Like,
oh yeah, no, I tried to do 6 podcasts at a time, and that was one of them.
No.
It didn't work.
No.
But I gotta find that one. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, conspiracies though.
So yeah, we love all that stuff, and I love researching it. It's wonderful. And so, I mean, it's not always wonderful, but it's like, I mean, I find it fascinating. It's like cults. Like I also find cults fascinating, but so I wanted to do like a conspiracy theory Strix. And this actually came from our home game because our 2 party members from DCA got turned into mind flayers. They got ceramorphized. Thank you, Chris. And so
of course he would do that.
Of course he would do that. Yeah. And it was horrible. And we ended up rescuing them from we got new clones of them from the Acquisitions Inc. Warehouse. So that's how they got fixed, is we got clones of their bodies. Of course.
Oh my God.
And so Strix is now like intensely paranoid of mind flayers. So while it makes sense, like there is actually a reason in our home game of why this happened. Like I try not to reference too much because no one knows really what's been happening in the home game. But in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, she's doing this because obviously she watched her friends get ceramorphized and it was horrible. And she knows what happens now. And so she now thinks everyone is a mind flayer. And so once she finds out she's going to space, she's like, that's where they're from. The mind flayers are from there. Everyone's a mind flayer. And so she's like and actually in our game, she made the conspiracy board. So she made that in her room with like the string and the Post-it notes and everything. Yeah. Our house burned down. The Waffle House burned down. So I think we're staying. The walls were full of vampires. It's for the best. But
oh my! What is Chris doing?
Yeah, the walls were full of vampires. That Strix resurrected these dead children, skeleton children, with her symbol on it. It's been a ride.
Yeah.
Anyway, house got burned down. House got burned down. Strix has some sort of ancient eldritch magic related to these like evil incantifers. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, no, totally. Nothing to worry about at all. Everything's cool.
So we're going to space, and Strix thinks everyone's a mind flayer. And so I had them add the little plush. I'll tell the chat, like the little plush mind flayer hanging from her hat, because I figured she was always making dolls of everyone. And so like she has this little like doll of a mind flayer that she's like, get away, So
I did like that Lauren in the chat said this the no mind flayer sign makes more sense now.
yes. Well, and that's where they come from. Like again, they're from, then that's like they're from the far realm, technically, I'm pretty sure. Or they originated from the far realm.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm also reading a lot about mind flayers right now because I'm literally doing the same thing to my players right now. So
oh no, the Ceramorphosis is brutal. Oh my god. Well, I mean, Chris made it brutal, but
well, see, I was extra mean because I started off a session making it look like I was finally giving them the beach episode they've been asking for.
Oh
for
my
a year.
god, we wanted a beach episode too.
And then it turned out that they were in mind flayer pods.
Yes. Yeah. No, Chris did that to us. And I knew as soon as he's like, you're back in Waterdeep. I was like, no, we're not. We're not. That's not where we are. That's not where we are. It was, it was great. But so that's
got to be on your toes.
Yes. So that's the deeper reason of why she's scared of mind flayers. But she also just, again, knows that they're in space and wanted to warn everyone that they're in space and you need to always be vigilant. And so then I can also do a bit and bring in every dumb conspiracy theory I know of and translate it into D&D, which makes me laugh.
I heavily endorse this bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's been fun. It's, when your fellow players are like, oh God, that you've done something great.
Oh, I remember that last week.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's great.
I asked a little bit about this with the dead god, but the last question I got for you for ICP is, where do you hope Strix gets to do in ICP?
Ooh.
And by that I mean Idle Champions Presents, not the other posse of
Yes.
clowns. We say ICP so much internally that like it's completely lost all meaning
it's so
for me.
Funny.
Like someone made a joke about Insane Clown Posse the day, but said ICP, and I was just like, What about the
what?
game? Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But yeah, what do you hope for her?
Yeah, where's the Fago? Oh my god. I absolutely love Kent and Virgil, and I just hope that they become better friends. Like I just want her to be friends with Kent more, and just like get to know them and just like become tiefling friends and have more like silly adventures. And because I know that we're going to the Fire Realm and it's probably going to be less funny once we get there. And so I'm kind of just like, maybe we like the lighthearted banter that we've all been having right now is wonderful. So more lighthearted banter, funny stuff. And then we go to the Fire Realm, like pretty like sick magic,
Yeah.
What I want to happen is like really cool magic, or like where I can be creative with the magic. Like I did the last AI game. I made Strix not Misty Step, but Gastu's form into a dragon, and then polymorph the heart of the dragon inside the dragon, and not polymorph, animate the heart and make the dragon's heart rip itself out of the dragon's ribcage.
That's badass.
So stuff like that is my favorite. Yeah. Yes.
That's freaking cool. I do like that though. Like, yeah, I can see why you would want more lighthearted stuff after the stories I'm hearing from Chris's table.
Oh, I mean, but that's normal,
Yeah.
We all
that's the
expected
baseline.
That. We all expected that. It's fine. He also broke my staff, which made me very sad.
No, he didn't.
I know, and it was a staff of the Magi, so it exploded.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure everything was fine there.
No, it was in that was a whole other arc in the Shadowfell where this evil spider lady was kidnapping children.
Oh, as you do.
Yeah.
Fun times.
I'm sure the neighbors in Troll Skull Alley are happy that we're gone, so it's fine.
Yeah, that one was it the Rashaka that's disguised as a detective is like, man, I'm finally glad things can get back to normal.
Oh yeah, we killed him. Evelyn killed him.
That's right, you did.
Killed him. Yes. And then the neighbor who kept babysitting the kids straight up also died.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think the last thing I remember happening over there was the Xanathar sending, was it like a dead body or something that exploded or something?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That won't come back to haunt us.
No.
Yeah, no, it's been super fun. I'm glad that we still get to play. It's been wonderful. And yeah, Chris is exactly the same. So
well, that's good to hear.
Yes. And, I mean, we all enjoyed playing, so it's that's why we still do it, because we love D&D.
I love that. I'm so happy y'all are getting to do that. That's fantastic. All right, let's check in with chat and see what they've been up to. We actually gotten quite a few questions here. Let's see. Lurking Writer says, question. I first knew about you via your cosplay as Commander Shepard. My cosplay had an has cosplay had an impact on your experience playing RPGs?
I think absolutely. Because being able to make Strix's costume and bring her to life for AI when I did that, like really solidified like the look of the character. And so being able to do that, like even helps me put it into like Idle Champions where I can show the artist and be like, I made the costume.
Yeah.
So like you can look at all the bits and bobs right here. And I think and Chris gave me, when I made her costume, he gave me a whole list of inventory she had. And so I made everything. So
so all of the
things that she had from her 80 years in Barovia when she was stuck there, he gave me a list of things that she had like obtained. And so each of them I made for the costume. And that was really fun. Cool. And over the years, I've given stuff away. So I've given things to part of the Chickenfoot Coven, like members of the Chickenfoot Coven have parts of her costume, and I've actually physically given to them.
Oh, so wow.
So that's been super cool. And I really liked that because it gives me, I love making costumes because of the lore in them, because of all of the meaning to it. And like making it really helped me solidify that and how the character looked. So
yeah, I still remember the first time I saw it at a live game that had the full Strix costume. Like I literally ran to my wife. I'm like, Holly did a full Strix costume. You got to see this.
And I think that's wearing it is so much fun. Even like for this game, they were like, oh, if you can dress up, like dress up. I was like, yeah, well, I'll dress up. I love dressing up. So it gives that little bit of like, that little bit of barrier to reality, I think. And that's really fun.
That the filter you got on your eyes during Hunger of the Far Realm. Oh my gosh.
It's really cool. And I'm so glad that it exists because those contacts are terrible to wear.
Oh, I bet.
Everyone's like, why did you pick those for her eyes when it's so awful to wear? And I was like, because I wanted to look cool. I don't know.
Right? Why else?
Exactly.
Becca Scott on Black Dice Society was playing an Air Genasi and she put a filter on that made her look blue. And many times people in the chat were like, is that makeup?
No, thankfully we now have technology if we're streaming to do that.
Exactly. All right, let's see. This is Maxi Cubert. All right. Question, do you have to work on Strix or is it very natural?
I do have to think about I'm really bad about this. I should actually be better about it, but she uses a lot of planar cant. And half the time I get too excited about playing D&D that I forget, like I can act like Strix, but I forget her vernacular. Like I forget the words that she uses a lot because she does use a lot of planar cant. But in my mind, I'm just like, well, she's been in the Forgotten Realms for a long time. So maybe she doesn't bring it up as much, even though it's just because I forget.
I think that's a good canon reason.
Yeah, especially our game, if it's like PG-13 or whatever, you can't throw around curse words and things. And I'm like, oh, it's fun. I can use the planar words. Like it's, I can, but then I forget and then I just don't. So, but I should remember because she does canonically use more planar language. But yeah.
I think that's great though. I like the idea of not remembering it because she's just used to it now.
Yeah, she's been in Forgotten Realms for a while and she's settling in, doesn't need to, use those. Maybe when she goes back to Sigil, she'll bring them back or something. But I think like settling into the character is pretty natural for me at this point because I've been playing her for so long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gelatinous Rubik's Cube. Oh, they were asking, am I missing an inside joke about the Mind Flayer sign? Yes, you were, but now you've been informed. Let's see. We'll drop to the next one. Question : which then follows up with question : still great name. Oh god, this is an interesting one, but it says, when can Strix and Garlock meet? Garlock is a character that I've played on a few streams. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to beat an ICP. So I don't know.
Just do more games. I'll play in them. Who cares?
Yeah, Garlock is my adorable little goblin boy who is a sorcerer but thinks he's a wizard. And so then walks around with a wizard hat and everything and is all adorable.
They'd have a lot in common and be like, yes, I too am a wizard.
He only thinks he's a wizard because my wife's character, when I made this character because they took a goblin hostage and of course made it part of the team. And then my wife put her witch hat on him to disguise him. And he's just like, I'm a wizard.
Oh my God. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Let's see. This is how do you say monastic coffee? I'm gonna go with that one. Well, the coffee person. Question: what is your favorite moment from Baldur's Gate, Shadows of Amon, or Throne of Ball?
Ooh, I loved Throne of Ball. Oh my God, Throne of Ball was a huge inspiration for me because you get to fight Melisande, and she's the ball spawn who's like gotten the most, I guess, like soul bits to try and become Ball, and so you get to fight her at the end in a demi-plane, more or less, and you get to like meet all of your companions afterwards and be like, see ya, I'm gonna go be a god. And so you can become a god at the end of it. That's like spoilers if you haven't finished it, but you can.
It's been like 20 years. It's fine. I think you're fine on that one.
Yeah, but I always wanted to cosplay her too, a Melisande. No one would know what I was because it's so old. But she had this big claw,
I don't know.
Like it was so sick. She had this big claw hand, and like, oh, it was really cool. And you got like some really cool abilities in that one too, like Hell Ball, which was like a super powerful fireball, which was the coolest thing.
Oh, so I thought it sounded like some like underworld sports game, but
yeah, it was like super fireball. Ugh. It was great. It was really fun.
Watsy, bring that spell back.
Right? I still listen to the soundtrack from that sometimes because it's just such good memories. Because I would get up before school to play it, like before high school, which was like 5 a.m.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I remember doing that with a few Zelda games.
Yep. Yeah, it was awesome. Anyway.
Well, before we ask the next question, we're actually going to start up a giveaway in the chat.
Ooh.
So when Mars puts it in the chat, you can start putting in the keyword and everything. The word is going to be all lowercase, all one word. We love Strix. And it's going to go for about 2 minutes, and the winner can get 42 chests of their choice, excluding Bahamut chests.
Ooh.
And Mars will let you know in the chat who wins that. So good luck. Let's go to Freezered Bee. Question. I always get nervous anytime I read anyone's name in chat, which is literally every episode of every show I'm on. I'm like, right. I'm gonna mess it up. So let's see. They got question. What does Strix think about pineapple on pizza?
I mean, Strix loves anything on pizza, even if it's eyeballs. So yes.
Yes.
I personally, my favorite pizza is pineapple on pizza because I'm a monster.
Yes. Heck yes.
Oh,
I'm very much in the same boat.
Yeah, I love pineapple on pizza.
I get looked weird because it's either pineapple pizza or it's a pepperoni and olive, and everyone's just like, "What is? Why don't you just like pizza?"
Listen, just don't knock it till you try it. I think it's very good.
Yes, as Argyle said in Stranger Things, "Don't knock it till you try it."
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Question comes back and says, would Strix appreciate a magic? So this has to do with today's question. Would Strix appreciate a magic weapon or utility item?
Ooh, I mean, a magic weapon. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Like, she would take a magic weapon because, so I had this whole theory. I haven't figured it out yet. But so if Strix is from the Incantifer, part of our sect, what is it? Faction of Planescape, they eat magic items. Like that's how they get powers. They eat magic items. Like they're literally their whole thing of that. If you can read about it in the old Planescape books, but their whole thing that if this is Strix's family, because her grandmother is Alluvius Ruskin. Mm-hmm. So if they eat these magic items, they get more and more power and they become immortal and they're trying to become gods. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. This is exactly what Strix wants to do. And Chris is clearly psychic and already knew this. And so my idea is that, the more magic items that Strix gets, eventually she can figure out how to eat them.
Okay. So listen up, chat. You're helping Strix become a god.
Yeah. This is
get those votes in.
This is not going to turn out well, but it's a great story.
It is. I also just like the idea of that family. It's just like, honey, would you like any of this +2
Yeah,
longsword? Oh, I'm a bit full tonight, thank you.
Oh my gosh. If you read about the incantifers, I'm pretty sure incantifer is the word. It's incanted. Yeah. It's like a really weird word.
It's that sound. I feel like I've heard that before, so that sounds
yeah.
right.
Their whole thing is like, oh, it's so cool. It's really, really cool.
I actually might spend some time this afternoon to
Oh
read
my
about that
gosh.
because I need to know about people that eat magic items because that's so cool.
There's a character you can play. Like the old stats exist where you can play one. They're very rare. Like they're and they exist in, I think it's Faces of Sigil has it in the Alluvius Ruskin part.
Okay.
And you can get that on like Drive Through RPG or whatever. They still have them scanned in.
I love that they're putting those old books on there just so I can read them still.
I know, yeah. The Faces of Sigil is incredible, and I think they talk a lot about it in the Alluvius Ruskin one. So you can tell I've enjoyed these many a years. So I'm very elderly.
As B Dave would say, is like I was there when the old magic was written.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Let's see. This is actually from Armand Mars. Did you know that Strix was once popularly considered the #1 damage dealer in the game? She was the reigning DPS queen for about 1.5 years.
I did know that because when I played it, I was like, wow, I'm doing pretty good. And also someone told me, I think it was on Twitter or it was in one of the interviews or something. And I was very excited about that. So, I'm excited that happened. It makes me very happy. It's very appropriate.
Maybe one day Strix will get a rework and be the reigning queen again.
Yeah, even if it's for a day, just give her, give her a bone. It's fine.
No, I like that. She's DPS queen for a day.
Yeah. Give it to her. Good job, Strix.
This is Minor Illusion 42. Question: Does Strix miss Warrington Munt?
No. No. She does not, because yes and no. He literally ceramorphosized in front of her, and then
oh my god,
that was on stream.
Did I forget about that?
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, he ceramorphosized in front of all of them. Like he turned into one of the big mind flayer monsters.
Oh, I don't remember. I guess I forgot about. I remembered him because that was where I literally learned what a GIF was.
Yes.
Yeah, I apparently forgot what happened to him there.
Oh yeah, he just straight up died, and then her friends ceramorphosized in front of her. So not cool.
Yeah. Hashtag no mind flares.
No, we have a problem with them, and we're going to continue having a problem with them.
Yeah.
I do eventually want to ask B Dave if I can have some stats on my tinfoil hat that gives it like a psionic barrier, because I did take it from a Spelljammer sale, which I feel like is pretty powerful.
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, he might go with that.
I know. I'm gonna ask.
Super Collins says, question: in the game, Strix and Evelyn have the affiliation tag Waffle Crew. Where did that name come from?
That was our team name from Dice Camera Action, and we all hated it because it was an accident. Yeah, we didn't come up with the name. It was we literally in our first episode were just like, we're going to get we were looking for a place to get pastries, and Strix or Evelyn was just we are going to get waffles, or one of us said it.
Yeah.
And then the chat was like, oh, the Waffle Crew. And they were like, and we were like, please don't use that. And then everyone did. So yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Which is funny. That's how it sucks. Yeah. That's how it stuck, but it was, I don't necessarily hate it that much, but I wish it would have been
an adorable owlbear name out of it.
We did. So technically we're just named after the owlbear now.
I like that. Yeah. I like that one more. In fact, I think that's the thing I've told people.
Yes. And that one is that is the true reason. And then also I think it was, oh my gosh, when did the last skin had Cinnamon, which is Waffle's baby. So in our home game, Waffles had a baby, and her name is Cinnamon. And so she's the tiny owlbear on top of Waffles.
That's adorable, and I love it.
Very cute.
Let's see. This is Super the Underdog. Question, in the home game, did Polton keep his tattoo? And if so, what was everyone's reaction to it? Characters, of course.
Yes, he did keep it. Yes, he has the tattoo and he used it to get to the Shadowfell when we had some of the ghost vampire is in the wall problems. And all of us were just like, oh, that's cool.
It's chill.
I mean, we were just like, Paulton's always does the fourth wall thing anyway. So like anything that happens with him, we're just like, okay. That must mean something. Like he still like sometimes we'll like just look up and go Perkins, and we're just like, what's wrong with him? Like, so it's become even more meta, I feel like, over time.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
I forgot about the Perkins.
Yeah. It's very funny.
This is from Dunk for RN. I'm gonna go with that. Question: one of the best episodes I've seen in DCA was DCA Live in TwitchCon 2018. Can you talk about how much you pre-decided on how much is how much is pre-decided and how much is just live action? I think they're asking like if any of the plot or anything from that is predetermined.
Right. None of it's predetermined. Only what characters show up, and none of it is. Like Chris always just was DMing it, and we just played it out. Like no matter what happened, like we had obviously like weapons and costumes and stuff, but like what was going to happen was not planned.
Yeah. I remember there was an episode y'all did that was essentially taking questions from chat or something like that, and Chris straight up said like he only planned for like the first 15 minutes of a show, and like
he only has
else,
one sheet.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean he's incredible. So I don't know if it's just because Chris is so good. I think it's just Chris is so good.
Yeah, he's in the position he is in for a reason.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Let's Winterborn 2. No, we are not doing our Minsk impressions.
I'm just saying no please. To that. All I can do is like, who wants some
evil? That's the most you're getting.
Or what is it? Sword, meet evil. Yeah.
God, I still can't believe Jim got 2 crits with the Vorpal sword in our live game with Minsk. It's just so appropriate.
This is so good.
It's just like that's perfect Minsk. We couldn't have asked for anything better.
Absolutely.
Devil Crayon says, question, how's the mushroom hut this season?
Oh, so I forage for mushrooms in real life. I mean, so I'm sure Strix would too, but in real life, I forage for mushrooms. And it's been bad because Seattle had the hottest summer on record. So I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah.
And so we just started getting rain. And so I'm hoping if I go next Tuesday, which is my plan, there might be some chanterelles and more tasty goodies out there. But the rain has took a very long time this year. So the mushrooms aren't as prolific, sadly, which makes me sad because I love seeing them. Because like usually by this time we have the big amanitas growing, like the Mario looking mushrooms and all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, nothing yet. So thank you.
If my wife is watching right now, she's very happy because she also loves mushrooms.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think they did find some oyster mushrooms, which they foraged. My friends did with some of their family who came to visit, but I think oysters are the only things that we found. We did find one really sad chanterelle, but we're working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a rough season.
Yeah. Yeah. I was hearing from all my friends up in Seattle about very, very dry for this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like I was where I grew up in Southern California. I was like, hello, October should not be warm. Like,
I am in Southern California. There were a few days that I'm just like, it's how hot up there?
Yeah, no, it was weird. Yeah, it was really weird.
Oh boy. Well, yeah. Hopefully the rain is sticking around for quite a while.
Yeah, me too. Please, I love my sky blanket.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's go to Luxanom. Question: how do you think vampires survive in space? Because they get all the sunlight without any protection from the atmosphere. Magic? I'm gonna go with magic.
I mean, So, well, I'm going to say that maybe vampires are just a physical plane sort of thing. Like, I think like maybe they just can't be, this is me just like making a stretch. Maybe they can just be on a planet but they can't be in the sunlight when they're on a planet. But when they're
Oh.
outside of the planet, because that's outside of where society, where people are, then they can be exposed to it. Then it
I like that.
becomes not a religious thing or a like, I feel like maybe people's belief that the sun can hurt them is the reason it causes the vampires pain.
I like that. I am for that answer. That is way better than my magic.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay, we're gonna do one more question before getting out of here. This is super the underdog again. Now that you're playing as a home game, do you still follow published adventures at all, or have you ventured away from them much more?
We are still doing the published adventures. I mean, but Chris has always changed them a lot. He's always changed them. So even in DCA, he changed them. So like we do a lot of stuff from the adventures, but like it's always a bit different. Like pretty significantly different usually. So I think right now we're still in Under Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like we did a bunch of Mind Flayer things in Under Mountain because there's like a bunch of Mind Flayers. So we kind of cross over a lot of the stuff. So we're still doing that. Awesome.
I always loved that y'all did that one and was able to tie plot lines and everything together in them. That was always so cool to see.
Yeah, it's been exciting because there's some like I think we have some plot stuff coming up in our next home game. Hopefully it'll be fun and exciting. So we always play a spooky game every year too. Chris always runs a Halloween game for us.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Which is always my favorite and so fun. Like it's amazing.
That makes me really happy because that's exactly what I do. That's why my players are seeing Mind Flayers right now.
Oh, no.
They got their beach episode, and then at the end of it, when they realized it was Mind Flayers, I'm like, did you really think I was giving you a nice session in October with spooky. Me as your DM?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been like a tradition that we have a spooky episode every year, and it's been amazing.
Oh, that's so good. I mean,
episode, I call it the game, you know.
Yeah.
We still run them the same way, but yeah.
I even call my home sessions episodes sometimes.
Because it's just easier. Like it's just an easier way to present them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we're running down on time here. Holly, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. This has been a blast.
Yeah, thank you. I love doing stuff with you guys and playing in the games. And this has been a really fun one. So if you haven't watched our Far Realm /Space episode yet, it's exciting and great.
First 2 episodes are up on our YouTube right now.
You catch up. You can see all of our antics.
Yeah, there's a lot of them for just only being 2 episodes.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Well, Holly, if people wanted to find you and your work on the internet, where could they do so?
You can follow me at Holly Conrad or Commander Holly. But most of my stuff now is under We Crowing Hens, the Royal We, where I make weird art stuff with my friend Kayla. And we just came out with new cardigans and sweaters. We do lots of cool, like fashion-y things, kind of like spooky and like D&D adjacent. So, but that's mostly what I do. Yeah. And Spooky Scouts, if you want to watch, if you want to listen to Spooky Scouts, it is on Spotify. We will be starting new episodes in January. We're on break right now. We're just waiting for aliens to invade. So,
any day now. I mean, with the past few years, any day now.
Any day. They just like came out with another one of those reports where it's just like, and I'm just like, just land, please. We need a break. Like, why did you know, just come down and be like, you guys need some help. Like, yes, we do.
Man, well, we're at the point where we're saying, can aliens please invade? Because we need a break. That is... Whew.
It's real. It's real.
It's
real. Yeah.
But I wrote down Spooky Scouts. I'm going to subscribe to it as soon as we're out of here.
Oh, thank you. Our audio is pretty bad sometimes, but it's just cut us some slack.
I started recording podcasts in my car. No worries on this end.
Listen, we just do it for fun. Listen, okay, like it's fine.
That's totally good.
We only do our best.
I told you, as long as they're making podcasts, I don't care how it sounds. As long as you're making podcasts.
Listen, as the elder that I am, I'm not disappearing into dust yet. So just talking about aliens.
Yep. But yeah, Holly, again, thank you so much. If you missed any part of Isle Champions Presents Hunger of the Far Realm, you can catch it right now on our YouTube, and new episodes are going to premiere every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I did see a question about if there's going to be one on Halloween. Yes, there will be one on Halloween. So you'll get to see more wacky adventures and Far Realm, not at all terrifying stuff at all on next Monday. So
I'm so excited. I love having an on Halloween game. It's going to be so fun.
That's going to be cool. I'm very excited. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Idle Insight. So until next week, take care of yourself.
Bye.